Hello. So let me begin with asking you, do you work? I actually asked you this already, if you remember. In my survey, I asked you guys if you worked, and 8 out of 10 of you guys responded to a yes. Now the other 2 that responded a no, I want you to picture this. You and the opposite gender to you have just graduated high school. Congratulations, by the way. And now that you've graduated high school, you just got hired to this job, where you'll be working the same position as the other person, you'll be working the same hours, have the same work experience, which is none, speak the same languages or language, everything's the same, every factor, everything. You guys are both reliable, both hardworking. Now the only difference in this case is that the person is getting paid more than you. Remember, I said this is the opposite gender to you, so they are getting paid more. How does this make you feel? And I also asked you this in the survey, and all of you guys didn't like this. Who would want to be paid less than someone else? Absolutely no one. And it's unfair. I'm pretty sure all of you guys can agree that it's very unfair to be paid less than someone when you're doing the same quality of work as someone else. Now, this leads me to the problem at hand. That this actually exists. That scenario I just said occurs every day. Female athletes are being paid less than male athletes in every sport. Now, this issue I will be discussing with you. I started with first audience analysis survey that I conducted on you guys. And the responses you guys gave me then led me to conducting my research. It guided me so I could find the best research so that I can eventually then persuade you on why gender discrimination exists and how female athletes are being unfairly treated. I will begin with discussing the problem at hand and going a little more further depth into it. Then I will show you the effects it has and also discuss the solution. So let's begin. The United States women's national soccer team is suing U.S. Soccer for gender discrimination. Now, their claim is that they're providing the same quality of soccer, but are still being fairly untreated. So, I am telling you what is occurring in this world. Female athletes, such as Alex Morgan and Carly Lloyd, Megan Rapinoe, who are a part of this team, the USA team, are suing U.S. Soccer. So this is what's happening. Athletes like them and other athletes in other sports are also suing because they are being paid less than male athletes. Gender discrimination is a problem. So now that I've told you this, it will now lead me to discussing how big the gap is. Because you might be wondering, why is this such a big issue? How much is the difference? And I will discuss that with you. So I got this information from Adelphi University, located in New York. And I will begin with telling you the name of the sport and each level of the sport is and how much they're getting paid. So let's begin with basketball. So the NBA, which is men's basketball, they get paid $8 million. The WNBA, women's basketball, get paid $75,000. Soccer. The MLS, men's soccer, get paid $410,000. The NWSL, so women's soccer, get paid $35,000. Tennis. ATP, men's tennis, get paid $335,000. WTA, women's tennis, get paid $283,000. Now that I've showed you 3 common sports that each have well-known and famous athletes in both genders, you can see that the pay gap is fairly large, and as you can see is why these female athletes are suing and making lawsuits, because this exists. Gender discrimination exists. As you can see an example again that I'll repeat. Soccer. So the men's soccer are getting paid for the MLS $410,000 compared to the NWSL. They're only receiving $35,000. So we are going from $400,000 to $35,000. That's a fairly large amount of difference right there. Now that I've discussed to you the pay gap, let's talk about factors. Obviously, because when you get paid, it's what you put in is what you get out. But let me show you two things. I will show you skills that each team has and the views, because those are huge factors into what you would expect to come out, which is getting paid. Now, I will begin with telling you about the World Cup. So if you don't know what the World Cup is, it's a big competition that comes every 4 years, which is as popular as the Super Bowl. So the World Cup in this case is a big event, very important in soccer. So the USA team, so the United States Women's National Soccer Team, has won 4 World Cup titles, right? So they obviously, you would expect them to be good. Now, the men's soccer team, the United States men's soccer team, have won 0. Which then brings me to FIFA ranking. So FIFA is the organization that runs soccer. So they obviously also run this competition, the World Cup. So they also have the rankings, which I found on their website. So the United States women's soccer team is ranked number 1 in the world. Now the men's soccer team for the United States is ranked number 12. I just showed you the skill each team has in their own gender. So I just told you that the USA teams for the women's soccer team has won 4 cup titles and they are ranked number 1 in the world. And the men's soccer team has won 0 World Cup titles and is ranked number 12. So if I told you that, you would think that the women's soccer team is getting paid more. But they aren't, because we have the whole USA team suing US Soccer, which I mentioned before. Now, I told you their skill, but you might be wondering, okay, what about the views? Do they have attention? Are they receiving attention? Let me cover that. So, the Women's World Cup had 22% higher views than the 2018 men's final, which shows you and demonstrates how the women are receiving more attention than the men. So I just showed you that they have the skill, they have the views, but are still receiving less pay. And that's the problem right there. Now that I've showed you that this problem exists, and you see that it exists, I will show you the effects it has. Because the problem to this is that it doesn't just happen in the world of sports competition, because it also exists in all the careers. Now, according to United States Congress, there's this article in which I read, and it stated that poverty rates are higher for women. Why is this? Because women are continually getting paid less than men, and because of this, they have a higher chance of poverty, right? And in this article, it also states how they are, like, no matter the career they're in, they are also getting paid less. And it's a big percentage. It was 21%. Now, another effect is the mommy penalty. So the mommy penalty exists for women. How it works is that women get punished for being pregnant or having a child. So the article stated that a woman who just had a child or has a child gets paid 3% less than a woman without a child. Now, a man who just had a child or has a child actually gets paid more for having a child than someone who doesn't. Can you see the gender discrimination right there? Because women have a child, they get paid less than their own gender, and because male are having a child, they get paid more. They are awarded. Like, this doesn't make sense. These effects are harming women. Now that I've discussed the effects and the problem, I will continue to the solution. Because my speech is about to come to an end, I want to discuss the solution at hand. Now, the only way to actually solve this problem is that all the female athletes with their lawsuits must win. They have to win in order to move forward. But the really only solution for this is to create new laws that would equal the equal pay for both genders. This way, the problem is now solved, and women don't have to go through the effects that come with gender discrimination. Now, thank you for listening, and have a good day.